Well, what do we have here today? Another congressional hearing. Now, I know congressional hearings are pretty much meaningless, okay? The Republicans always come out, they talk a big game, they make a whole bunch of statements, but then they don't do anything, which honestly is very frustrating. But that doesn't make these instances any less fun to watch. And what we're going to see today is Matt Gaetz come out and simply destroy Merrick Garland to his face on the idea of collusion between the Justice Department, the White House, and all of the lawfare against Donald Trump. So let's go ahead and check this out. But first, please like and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithm. Here we go.
To allege that the Department of Justice is communicating with these state and local prosecutions against Trump, you can clear it all up for us right now. Will the Department of Justice provide to the committee all documents, all correspondence between the department and Alvin Bragg's office and Fani Willis's office and Letitia James's office?
The offices you're referring to are independent offices of state.
I get that. The question is whether or not you will provide all of your documents and correspondence. That's the question. I don't need a history lesson.
Well, I'm going to say again, we do not control those offices. They make their own decisions.
The question is whether you communicate with them, not whether you control them. Do you communicate with them, and will you provide those communications?
You make a request. We'll refer it to our Office of Legislative Affairs.
But see, here's the thing. You come in here and you lodge this attack that it's a conspiracy theory that there is coordinated lawfare against Trump. And then when we say, fine, just give us the documents, give us the correspondence, and then if it's a conspiracy theory, that will be evident. But when you say, well, we'll take your request, and then we'll sort of work it through the DOJ's accommodation process, then you're actually advancing the very dangerous conspiracy theory that you're concerned about.
Yeah, what a lot of us have been contending for a long time now is it's kind of suspicious the way all this stuff went down. Donald Trump comes out, announces he's running for president, and then magically all these cases start popping up all over the country. And surprisingly enough, all of the prosecutors in these cases actually met at the White House before the cases were brought. So yeah, it brings up a little bit of suspicion that this is a coordinated effort by the DOJ, the White House, etc. to go after and get Donald Trump. But of course, Merrick Garland here, what does he say? This is all conspiracy theory, right? It's in your heads, you're making this up. And of course, Matt Gaetz says, well, why don't you quell all of our fears? Release to us all of your communications that you had with all of these prosecutors, and then that will, of course, dispel any type of conspiracy theories we have, right? We will all be exposed as the horrible liars we are. And of course, is he going to do that? No. Go ahead and officially apply with the Department of Justice for those correspondence. Get your request in, and well, holy crap. Yeah, it sounds like you don't have anything to hide there, right? Who doesn't want to reveal a conspiracy theory for exactly what it is? Oh, this guy right here.
Now, you were a judge, once nominated the highest court in our country. When you were a judge, I'm just curious, did you ever make political donations to partisan candidates?
No.
No, and you didn't, because that would create the potential appearance of impropriety.
I didn't, because there's a federal rule barring federal judges from making contributions.
Right, but under that same theory of attacks on the judicial process, like, shouldn't someone be owed like a jury of their peers and a judge that's non-biased rather than getting a judge from your political opponent's donor file?
I'm well aware that you're not asking a hypothetical. You're asking me to comment on a jury verdict in another jurisdiction which has to be respected. I won't comment on it. That case is still ongoing. The defendant.
Mr. Attorney General, I hadn't asked you about the verdict yet. We were getting there. I was talking about the judge. And so let me ask you this question about your time as a judge. Was there ever a time when you were a judge when you had a family member who was personally profiting off of the notoriety of a case that was before your court?
Look, I'm going to say again, it's very clear you're asking me to comment on a case in another jurisdiction.
No, wait, hold on, Mr. Attorney General. Did you ever have a family member profit off of the notoriety of any case that you sat over?
Say again, you're asking
yes or no?
You're asking me to comment on a case currently.
Well, it seems you're connecting the dots, Mr. Attorney General. I'm just asking you as to a general principle, but you are aware that Judge Merchan's daughter was profiting off of this prosecution. You are aware that that creates the appearance of impropriety. You know the very reason there's a federal rule against judges giving donations is because it is the very attack on the judicial process that we're concerned about.
Before we continue, I do want to mention that Joe Biden is ruining the economy. Inflation is up and he is devaluing our currency. So what can you do to protect your dollar? You can go to Genesis Gold Group and turn your 401k or IRA into a gold-backed retirement account. Get back on that gold standard and protect your money. Now, to do this, of course, just go to angryteachergold.com or call 1-800-200-4653 to protect your money. And of course, Genesis Gold Group is a faith-based, America First organization, so you can be assured you're not investing with a woke company. Let's get back to it. As we're aware, Judge Marchand, of course, does donate politically, and guess which side he donates to. And yet, for some reason, despite knowing his political proclivities, right, he was still assigned somehow to this Trump case in New York City, right? So nothing suspicious about that. And of course, the reason why you wouldn't want to have a judge openly contributing to a political candidate is because it does set up a look of impropriety in the case, as Matt Gaetz just said. But also, his daughter directly profiting off of this case. She was fundraising millions of dollars with her company, which does all types of advertising and works with political campaigns to, of course, help get them elected. And she was bringing in tons of money. And of course, her whole company was elevated because she was the daughter in the case. So of course, Merrick Garland, would you ever do that yourself? No, that would be highly suspect. And yet in this case, we have something that is in fact highly suspect.
So you won't comment on it, Mr. Attorney General, but you had no problem dispatching Matthew Colangelo. Who's Matthew Colangelo?
That is false. I did not dispatch Matthew Colangelo.
Matthew Colangelo became the Assistant Attorney General at the very beginning of the Biden administration. Without having been Senate confirmed, goes and gets this senior role at the DOJ, and then after, I believe it's Gupta replaces Colangelo, Colangelo makes this remarkable downstream career journey from the U.S. Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., and then pops up in Alvin Bragg's office to go get Trump. And you're saying that's just a career choice that was made that has nothing to do with the lawfare coordinated by the DOJ.
I'm saying it's false. I did not dispatch Mr. Colangelo anywhere.
Well, do you know how he ended up there?
I assume he he applied for a job there and got the job.
But see, you know what?
I can tell you I had nothing to do with it.
Well, you might not have had anything to do with it, but we've got this contemporaneous evidence in Mr. Pomerantz's book. So Pomerantz writes this book, which I'm sure you're aware of, where he says, we put together the legal eagles to get Trump. We got all these folks together and we assembled them for that purpose. And so when we on the Judiciary Committee think about attacks on the judicial process, our concern is that the facts and the law aren't being followed. A target is acquired, here, Trump, and then you assemble the legal talent from DOJ, Mr. Pomerantz, and you bring everybody in to get him. And meanwhile, the judge is making money on it. The judge is making money on it, or the judge's family is making money on it for stuff that you yourself wouldn't do. You know, no one's going to buy this. No one's going to believe it. It's going to create great disruption. And I am saddened by it because, like you, I have given my life to the law. I care deeply about the law. And I think that the lawfare we've seen against President Trump will do great damage well beyond our time in public service. I see my time's expired. I yield back.
Yes, a legal team was assembled for the explicit purpose of getting Trump. And remember, Alvin Bragg, of course, ran on the idea of going after Trump. And even though he drug his feet on it for a long time and actually at first decided not to bring the charges against Donald Trump because they are so weak and the only place you could possibly get a conviction is in incredibly left-leaning New York City, all right? He then eventually finally said, all right, we're going to do it. I'm going to make good on my campaign promise. We're going to get this team together made up of, former DOJ officials, right? And then, of course, we're going to find the crime after the fact, right? We're going to get Donald Trump. We just got to find something to get him for, right? Show me the man, we'll show you the crime. This is totally not how banana republic, communist, leftist, socialist regimes work whatsoever. Complete coincidence, and all of this is perfectly fine and on the up and up. So hopefully everything will get thrown out and overturned on appeal, but we'll have to wait and see. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.